I never thought I'll have so much fun creating ephemera for a cooking themed journal. I think I'm falling in love with cooking all over again. My husband is certainly very happy about it. Hello everyone, it's Dragana at Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today we continue creating ephemera for a cooking themed journal. And we will be designing our own plates. Before we continue, I would like to give credit to Megan from Tiny in Time Miniatures. I recently watched one of her videos where she made little miniature plates for a dollhouse from cardstock, and I was so inspired and I wanted to create a version of these plates for our junk journals. Of course, the little ones would be perfect as charms, but because I've done a charm video last week, I didn't want to repeat myself, so these are going to be more like general ephemera, either tags, paper clips, pockets, and general decorations. I will leave the link to Megan's tutorial in the description below this video, so if you get a chance, please check it out and give her some love. The reason I enjoyed this project so much was because I was able to use a lot of my supplies, and also because I could really get creative with it. Let's see what we need for the project. First of all, you will need either white craft tacky glue that has a fine nozzle that you can use to draw the design with, or you can use contour paint. This one says glass liner. It's used in painting on glass. We used it last year when we did faux stained glass technique on acetate. You will need some gesso and a brush to apply it with, some acrylic paint. I have titanium white here and yellow ochre. I plan to add a bit of ochre to the yellow to create off-white. You can use any color you want. As you've seen in my examples, I've used many different colors here. Then you're gonna need some images to decorate your plates with. In those two examples, I've used only stamped images. So any sort of small stamps, for example, these little borders, or little leaves, butterflies, and so on. Whatever small images you might have and that you think would look good for this project. And also if you have a stamping platform, it would be even easier to do. In these examples here, I've used napkins. Napkins that either have small design that you can just place the whole thing over, or for example, napkins like these where you can actually cut part of the design and just glue it like I've done in that case there. If you have some stickers, you could use them as well. Also, you can decorate with real plants. I have here this specimen that's kind of torn, but I could just cut smaller pieces and arrange them. I might even do one today because I haven't done any with real specimens, and I think that would be really fun. And of course, you can just draw whatever design you want. You will need some Mod Podge or varnish or clear nail polish or UV resin, something to complete the project with. If you're going to add napkins, you will need either glue or Mod Podge. These three were completed with UV resin. The rest of them, I've used just one coat of Mod Podge. I could go and do one more coat for extra glossiness, but I'm happy with how they look with just one coat of Mod Podge. Now, if you have some metallic paints, I've got these acrylic markers in gold and silver. They would be great to add these finishing touches. It just looks very nice, I think. Scissors, scoring tool would be helpful. Some distress ink for the shading, and also some permanent ink if you decide to stamp the images onto the plate. If you have a hairdryer or a heat tool, that would speed up your process. And you will need some cardstock. Now what I've done here, I've created a freebie with 8 different designs. It's actually 4 designs, but these are plain and these are a little bit more elaborate. If you look at the overall shape, that and that would be the same, those would be the same, those would be the same, and those two would be the same. I have printed them on some recycled cardstock. This was sketch pad, that was watercolor pad, so I just printed on the other side that was white. That way I get to recycle this cardstock I've done the same here. This was just a file folder, and this was also what, laminating pouches printed on the brown side. So great way to recycle some cardstock. I was thinking of doing one of each today, and I will also show you one with the glue and one with contour paint, so that you can see the difference. And we'll do one with stamped images and perhaps napkin, and we'll do one with this real specimen because I really want to see what that looks like. These templates are free for you to download. They are on my website. The link should be up on the screen now and also below the video. Once you're on my free download page, close all the ads that pop up. Look for the image you wish to download, click on it, and it should open up in a new window. Now you can save it and then print it when you need it. You do not need to register, pay, or install anything. I do not ask for anything in return. If you click on any of the ads by mistake and they ask for your payment, subscription, or your details, just know it is not me. Do not provide your information. If you wish to share my freebies, please share the link to my website. Please do not sell or redistribute in a digital form as a freebie anywhere else. It is okay to use printed version of all my freebies in the journals that you make and sell. And don't forget to have fun with them. Let's do this one first. I think in Megan's tutorial, she was using white craft glue or tacky glue. And I think it gives really nice subtle effect. So you just go around and you trace the design. You can also add things to it. You don't have to follow exactly what I have here. This is just a guide so that you get these lines spaced equally. Something similar to what we've done with the flower templates from a few months ago. And this is like embossing, I guess. It will give a little bit of texture and shape. It's just so relaxing. And it's also a lot of fun designing your own plate with everything that you've got in your stash. I've seen there's a lot of printable plates that you can buy or even download for free. But I thought, let's do something different. Let's make our own unique plates. I think this is really an opportunity to use a lot of the stash that we already have, like napkins and stamps and stickers and paint. Perhaps I can do like a line here. I have to say I'm really enjoying this cooking theme. It's just something different. I haven't done it before, and because it's new to me, I love it. Okay. We can add more detail or we can leave it like that. I might actually just leave it. I find that contour paint gives more dramatic result. Like these lines stand out a bit better than with the glue. I'm using black here because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. But obviously if I was to do it on my own, I would probably use white contour paint. But that's all right. Gesso covers everything, including black. Probably looks a bit messy at the moment, but once it dries and we paint over it, it won't matter. I'll just put this underneath. I'm having trouble seeing white on white. This is much easier now. Once I started designing these, I wanted to design 100 of them. Then I realized, oh, better stop. 4 is enough. Otherwise, there'll be no video this week. I find that this contour paint actually dries faster than the glue, but I think glue is much easier to apply. I could also add like some dots. Just for fun. Okay. Once you apply either contour paint or the glue, you can let it dry, or you can use a heat tool or a hair dryer. So I'm just quickly going to dry this. That's dry. The next step for us is to apply gesso. You can use the brush or you can use the sponge, and I think it's just a little bit faster with the sponge. And it also gives a little bit of texture. If you want to be smooth, then just use like this. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna let that dry. Let's do this one. Maybe I'll just smooth it out here in the center, like so, and then add a bit of texture around. I usually go just once with gesso, and I need to clean this straight away. So I'm just gonna go with white and a touch of yellow ochre. Now that's almost yellow. I think I need more white. So I'll just do it like this. Let's start with this one. As you've seen in my examples, I've used a few different colors because I wanted to test them all. But for gluing stickers and napkins, I think lighter colors work best. Just hold it somewhere. We'll do 2 coats, so I'm gonna let that dry and then we'll do another one. Smooth it out here. And when you do the second coat, it doesn't have to be the exact same color. You can go lighter or darker, just to have a bit of variety, I think. I'm gonna smooth it out here too, in the center. If you're using heat tool, you have to remove them from the plastic that they're on. Otherwise, you're going to melt the plastic with your heat tool. have to do this again. I'm gonna go with the same color. Smooth it out, and then I'm gonna go lighter around. I'm just gonna add white around. Now you can go several more layers if you wanted to, but I think 2 is plenty. So I'd say I'm done with the painting part. I'm gonna let that dry and I'm gonna clean this up, and then we can do the next step. You know what my problem is now? Everything looks good here. I think it looks pretty. I cut this from that napkin, and that also looks pretty. I have that one. That would also be very nice. See, my problem is everything looks good now. I'll have to make hundreds of these. I don't really like cutting out small bits from napkins, but even if I do the whole napkin like this, maybe I can choose one of the images, for example that one, to be in the center and keep everything else. Why not? Over here I cut out one of these smaller bits and placed it in the center. But what I could also do, rather than cut, is place it, for example, like that. And that way I will only see a little bit of flowers around and the center will be clear. If you decide to do the stamping, you just do it now at this stage. What about if I combine stamping with the napkin? Because I want to show you both. So I'm going to get a bird. Maybe place a bird there in the center. I'm actually going to use my stamping platform. Might be safer. Place that bird there. That. Nice. What about this one? I think there's more empty space in between those, and I can fit the bird nicely. I think that would work. I'll just cut it out like this. That way we keep the stamped image and we add napkin. Okay, that's one. And then for this one, I better just cut these smaller ones. I was thinking of just placing them around. Okay, before we glue that, I want to do something else. I basically cut myself a stencil from recycled packaging and a mask. Okay, I've been using that. You can also perhaps use some packaging. You need something that is approximately that size, can be a little bit smaller than that. That would also work. Then I thought, why don't I just cut it from acetate? Then I can see properly where I'm placing it, and I'll be able to clean it afterwards. Okay, these plates are 2-dimensional or flat with a little bit of embossing around, but we still want them to look as if they're deeper in the center. So that trick I achieved by just inking like this on the inside, but with that stencil or mask, like that. Another thing you can do is use a scoring tool and just lightly go around, but don't scratch too hard because you could get paint off. You can do that as well. Just press a little bit, go over a few times gently. Okay, and then if you want to do something here in different color, then you place part of that, which is that, is it? Yeah, as a mask. You cover that, and then you do whatever else you want here. I was thinking of maybe just going like this with the same ink, with the sponge rather than with the brush. Okay, and now I'm just gonna add Mod Podge just here. I'm not pressing too hard yet because I want to make sure I space them out correctly. I think I'm happy with that to be like so. So now I'm going to just gently press, add more Mod Podge. I was going to do an off-white plate. I've ended up with yellow. That's fine. I don't mind. So I'm going to let it dry and let's do the other one. Nice. Maybe we'll do this part this way. Okay, now let's cover the whole thing. I love the difference in textures in the center and on the edges. And that was a simple trick with just that sponge. Just push this from the center out. And I'll cut the napkin when it dries, not now. I think this one's going to be really nice. I could have also found a napkin that already has a little bird there, but I wanted you to see that you can stamp and create a really nice effect. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry now. I'll just cut around. Now if you see that whatever shading you have done has disappeared after the napkin has been glued, you can always repeat it. That's what I'm gonna do now. And for this one, because I've added real plants, one coat is definitely not enough. But I was thinking instead of adding another layer of Mod Podge, I will just do the UV resin. Of course, it's totally optional, but I think it would be good for this. It will just secure it better. Before I do that, I want to add the detail in gold just around. Now these are going to pop up. I love how these parts stand out. Then I just like to go over with gold. I could also do this after I add resin, but because it is textured, it's easier to do it now. Resin might actually make it a bit smoother, so then it would be harder. All right, let's add the UV resin. Crystal clear hard type resin. I've used that one over here, but I prefer this effect. Made it look really, I don't know, plasticky, as if I've laminated it. So I'm gonna go with this one, UV varnish sealer. It's got its own brush, so I can easily apply. Okay. It does smell the same as that one. It's probably the same thing, or maybe a little bit different. Well, as long as it does the job. Yeah, it does look nice and smooth and glossy, just like a real plate. I don't like the smell of these resins. I think the nail polish smells stronger, but can tolerate it better. Lots of little bubbles, but honestly, I don't really mind that it's a bit grungy looking. It's good enough for me. I'm going to just place that for a few minutes. I love this part. Adding gold. I could have actually gone with silver on this one. I think it would look better, but it's too late now. I already started with the gold. I don't know if you can see those lines. I could go with gold like I've done here, but I think I'm going to leave it. Love it. Okay, that one's done. Let's check on this one. It needs a bit longer, so I'm gonna leave it a few more minutes, then I'm gonna let it cool down. These need to really set and cure properly before I can use them in the journals. Anyway, I can use some of the ones that I've already prepared because I want to give you some examples of how you can use them in your journals. And my first idea is to turn it into a paper clip. I have here just a piece of paper and a paper clip. This is the easiest thing. Just put the paper clip over and then you glue it on the back of these. Which one would make a nice paper clip? Perhaps one with a clean back, if there is one. Okay, this one has relatively clean back, so I don't have to glue anything. That one's not bad either. That could be a nice paper clip too. It does have a little bit of stain there. I guess this one's the cleanest, so I'm gonna go with that. I'm just gonna erase this. These were just my notes. test it in this gel. It also works as a closure for the envelope. Originally, I was going to turn them all into paper clips, but then after I thought about it, I realized they can have many more uses. They're flat, they don't create bulk, so they are great as embellishments on many different things. They can be used as tags. Basically, you can add a little eyelet and maybe a tag topper and write something on the back. In that case, I would actually glue something nice on the back, even just plain paper or dyed paper. That can be a nice tuck spot there, tuck spot here. You can make cards and add them at the front of the card if you're into card making, perhaps dinner invitations and so on. These are actually my notebooks with recipes. It's another one. Look. And I think I don't like the covers, so I was thinking maybe I can do this. I would obviously paint this or cover it with a fabric, add a piece of doily and maybe one of these. Hang on, I like this one. Even that one is very pretty. The new one we've done. This is just an idea, so I would actually make it bigger. For this cover, I would make a big plate to fill it almost completely. For that one, it could also do with a bigger one. But yeah, just some ideas. So many different uses for these plates. I actually enjoyed this very much. I just want to keep going, creating more. This is just a lot of fun. And I'm gonna attempt to make a few of the larger ones for the covers, definitely. I hope you enjoy this. I hope it was fun. And I really hope you make some. If you do, share them in our Facebook group, Crafting with Saacibo. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye for now.